What up, everybody? This is your boy, Mr. Thraz. I've been patiently trying to read through a lot of this forum, and I see there's a lot of confusion. So I wanted to put my 2 cents in on it and just tell you what I know. Just because there seems to be some confusion as far as uh, what these arts are, and I hope this can clear up a lot of it for you. Um, first let me start by giving you an example. Uh, when Europeans came to the Philippines, they brought their arts with them, and they brought fencing, and they brought Western style boxing, uh, Western boxing. At the time, it was still caught in the John L. Sullivan phase. Keep your guard low, go straight out. You know, uh, as far as I'm concerned, there wasn't even a right. There wasn't not a right, but there wasn't a 1-2 at the time. You just stood there and took a shot. The idea of footwork was absent. Um, it was, basically just I hit you, you hit me, and maybe I might be able to lean back, but for the most part, they just stood there and hit each other. Uh, Filipinos got a hold of this idea, and because they were using blades and sticks, not rapiers and the like that the Europeans used, the pokey swords. They were using swords that you slice limbs off, things like that with. So, in their native arts, whether it be the stick or the sword, they had to lean out of the way of shots. And it became an important thing, and they had to use their footwork to get out of the way. And when they got a hold of Western boxing, you know, they did the same thing they would do if it was a stick or a blade. Kept their arms in tight, just in case something came in, they would, you know, block their important parts of their body. And they are credited for taking Western boxing from this to this. I submit to you that the exact same thing happened during the African diaspora uh, with the African Americans here in the U.S. When you look at the Filipinos, what you see is they went from regular they go from regular boxing, but when it becomes their own empty hand art, regular boxing becomes pananatukan, where they start to mix in weapons that are things that are more culturally relevant to them: low line kicks, elbows, knees, things of that nature. Well, it's very similar for African Americans. We all come from, most of us were brought to this country from uh, the center and Western Africa. And there was an art that was very much like capoeira, which was taught to young soldiers to evade sticks and blades. And, they fought with sticks and blades. We got here to the Americas, and, you know, uh, this culture influenced us, and we influenced this culture. And our way of movement is something that's passed on culturally. It's one of the things that could not be ripped away from us, even though we don't readily recognize it as such. There are lots of things like that. Like black people all over the country go duh. The reason for that is, we don't say the, we say duh. The reason for that is the culture that we came from in Africa had no T in their language at all. And there are all types of little things. When you see black women go, when they're arguing, and you look at some of those cultures over there, you still see black women doing that. There's so many things like that. When there's When we move, we have a certain way of moving that's very fluid and sometimes has a real staccato rhythm. And for us, dancing and fighting, all of that was mixed up in those cultures anyway. So when we came over here, you know, it was still mixed up. And then you bring Western boxing into it, and we're going to add our flavor. You know, you look at how we got away from sticks and blades. We did the esquiva, and or that's how the Brazilians would call it. You know, the esquiva. It's basically a slip. We added that to Western boxing. The whole movement, using your footwork to get in and out, things like that. But when it goes, just like with the Filipinos, when it goes beyond the Marquis, the Queensberry rules, more of our flavor gets added in, and this is what you see is what's called 52 or 52 hand blocks or 52 pickup or bums rush or you know, what I was taught as a BCR by my father as a child. You know, all of these arts are more of an extension of what we do. I mean, they're just things that we do. We naturally do these things. You know, we naturally just started breakdancing. We naturally had dances like that. It's just those cultural things that won't disappear from us. We've kept on to them somehow just because we unconsciously carry them from father to child. And that's how 52 was spread. You know, it's, you know, you have an uncle and he fights. When he fights, he's tapping his elbows. You're going to do it. Because, you know, that was your uncle. Your uncle, he got it from his daddy. And, you know, it's just things like that. And it just gets passed on. I hope that you're getting what I'm talking about, you know. I think a lot of people haven't been able to explain it well because it's hard to explain the forest for the trees. So, but you know, it's a very simple thing, really. If you're wondering why you haven't been seeing 52 anywhere, you have been seeing it. Every time you turn on ESPN and you watching a fight and you seeing somebody like Chris Bird juking somebody, getting out the way of shots. You see James Toney slipping a shot and coming back with the right. You see Floyd Mayweather doing this. You see Zab Judah doing this. You've been watching it. It's the black way of fighting, basically. It's and it's cool, you know. We put a lot of flavor on things that's hard to duplicate for other cultures, but you know, when you see it in action, you realize how cool it could be. I mean, and you know, I've sparred with a few people, and you know, some of them are very good at it, some of them aren't. But you know, some of them techniques are really good. The triangle trade. Shoot, Archie Moore was always doing the skull and crossbones. You know, these are good techniques, and I encourage anybody to go ahead and take a look at some of the things that are done. And you know, have a good time. It's your boy, Mr. Thraz. I'm out.